Hello and welcome to this week's reading vlog. It is now Monday, December 28th, and I have a week to finish my TBR, so I don't have to take penalty for next month. Oh shoot, I totally forgot another book. So, I did this last month. It did not work out for me, but I'm gonna be serious about getting this done. So technically, I have really 3 books left on my TBR, technically. So, The Mermaid's Voice returns in this one. It'll Be Easy by Amanda Lovelace. It's a poetry book that, especially after looking at that footage, really did not match my shirt, but I'm telling you that was the closest I could come to it. So we're going with it. I've already tabbed a few. It looks way more than intended. I've only got a little bit left, so I will definitely finish this one. I probably should finish this one tonight. I did tab like a decent amount. However, so far this one isn't my favorite. This may be maybe my least favorite so far, which is surprising because like look at all the tabs. But I just tabbed things that like resonated with me or that like provoked basically a reaction, like it provoked a feeling when reading this. So yeah, I really enjoy her writing. I think if you're looking into getting into more modern poetry, I would go here because I tried Ruby Carr and they weren't for me, so I would recommend checking out Amanda Lovelace. So this one will definitely be finished. That's not the issue. That one is on my like must read list because for the December TBR, we'll get to the November one in a minute, but for the December TBR, I needed to read A Mermaid's Voice in this one. So that's where I'm at with this one. I will finish this one tonight. Furyborn. So this one is taking me a while to get into, and I'm pushing myself through this. I would say like if I wasn't doing this for a challenge, I probably wouldn't. I would have put it down. I would have put it down and not picked it back up. I would have like postponed this reading, but I've postponed this reading long enough. I've just heard so much good so many good things about this series that I'm bummed that this isn't like super driving with me. It's entertaining, but if I'm not forcing myself to listen to it and pay attention, I don't really care about the characters. I don't really care about the storyline. Like, the whole thing is that there is a civilization and there is different queens, and there's a blood queen and a light queen, and one is going to protect the kingdom and fight for it and stuff like that, and one's going to betray them. And basically there is this unmatched girl in here who has this untold power, and things go forth from there. So that's what this book is about. And I like want to love it, but I'm just not like, it's hard for me to separate the characters because there's not a ton of fleshed outness, I think, in the side characters enough to differentiate them, and the side characters usually help craft the main characters', you know, connection to the world, and I'm not feeling that. There's also like a second narrator in her head that's also going on that's slightly confusing because I'm listening to the audiobook, and the audiobook, it doesn't do different voices for it. It's all the same voice, which also makes it kind of confusing that I'm like, am I talking to someone outside of her head or she's talking to the person in her head? Like, there's also that aspect of it that's a little confusing. I want to love this. I'm not loving this. It's hard to make myself want to listen to this. Once I start, it's fine, but there's nothing pulling back to the story. There's nothing like wowing me with this, which is such a bummer because I was really hyped for this series. I even already have the second one because Trevor had read this and liked it enough. So I'm bummed about the fact that I already own now the first and the second book in this, and now I'm not like loving the first one. Anyway, I have 9 hours of reading or listening left of this book. I do listen to this at 1.5 speed, so I went ahead and that's how I got 9 hours, is I put it into an audiobook calculator. So that's a must finish for this week as well. Lastly, I have one last stop by Casey McQuestion. Pop this up here. I'm not letting myself finish or start that book until I finish some of these other ones, because that one I feel like I'm gonna fly through because it's a sapphic romance by Casey McQuiston. Like, the recipe for amazingness is there, and I've heard really good things about that one. I know that's kind of what I said about this one, but yeah. That one I'm really looking forward to. So that one has 432 pages. I have very little left of this one. And then, like I said, I have 9 hours left of this one. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. And that's what I technically need to finish for the month of December. Now, I have the live show for Kingdom of the Wicked. I'm also doing this as a buddy read with my partner, so we're trying to balance buddy reading this together and all the other things we've got to do in our life. So this one I'm not. We are on page 121. So I have 251 pages left of Kingdom of the Wicked that I also need to finish. And Get a Life, Chloe Brown. It's over there. I'll pop a picture up here. I have 228 pages of this left. This was technically on my November TBR. I'm also not letting myself start one less off until I finish this, but I'm also worried about not finishing December's TBR. And that may be pushing me back. I would like to go into 2021 with a fresh start. And I don't know if that's gonna happen. We're gonna do it. We're gonna make it happen. I'm gonna plan it out. We're gonna make it happen because I'm determined that that's gonna happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and plan out my week, figuring out how much I need to read per day to get all this done. Oh, I'm in between so many books right now and it's so painful. I'm also in the middle of this audiobook because I've tried to listen to Furyborn like on my lunch breaks and things at work, and it doesn't work because I really have to concentrate to be able to get this to like stick in my brain, because otherwise it's just going one ear out the other and I'm like, what's happening? Because I'm not fully invested in the story. But this one I can, because this is contemporary, so it's easier to pop in and out of. And I am 67% of the way through Mistletoe and Mr. Right. I'm popping it up here. This is like a Christmassy read, and this I have 3 hours and 14 minutes left, but I do listen to this again faster, so less. So this one's almost done as well, and that's due in 3 days. So I also need to finish that one this week. It's fine. We're gonna plan it out. We're gonna make it work. So my first priority today, I should just finish this one and be done with it. But my first priority is to get as much done in this one as possible. So that's what we're gonna do today. So I'm going to do that, and I will check back in with you guys in a little bit. Hello. I know, it looks like I haven't moved. I have moved. It is later on in the day, and I have some updates for you. So I have finished The Mermaid's Voice Returns in this one. This one is definitely a lot more intense with the sexual assault. So, and she addresses that too, that she was inspired by the Me Too movement to tell her story in a way that she could. So it was more intense. I wouldn't say more intense than some of the other ones, but it was intense. And there is a good portion, like a back portion of this book that also features other artists or other poets. And I didn't love that. Like, I like that she's using her power to uplift voices that aren't as heard, and I think that's really cool. The problem is she has a very distinct voice, so when moving through the story in her voice and then coming across a page where it's not her, and I wasn't even looking to see what the like said at the bottom. I was just reading through, and I could pick out what was not Amanda Lovelace's work, and everybody signs off at the bottom, so it's not like there's any confusion, but just like going and reading along with the flow, it's very immediate what is not her style. So I think that like took me out of the moment a bit. I did like some other ones, but I didn't love them. Like, I like really love her writing and the way that she writes her words and the way that she chooses to format her writing to give a distinctive voice. So this is my least favorite out of all of them. I'm gonna say it's probably like a 3 out of 5 stars for me. It's still good, it's still enjoyable. It's just my least favorite out of all of them. So 3 out of 5 stars, but I am done with this one, which is awesome. Next up with Furyborn, I have been listening to this all day, and I only have, according to the audiobook calculator that I use, it says I only have about 6 hours left, which is awesome. Still the same feelings as before. I think this is a very forgettable story. It's not gonna stick with me. I barely remember it in between the times that I'm listening to it and not listening to it, which is a bummer, because I know that a lot of people love this series and that it's such a standout series. I still am interested in her other writing just to give it a shot. Like, I've had on my radar for forever Sawkill Girls, and that is a thriller by Clara LeGrand. So I'm hoping maybe I'd like that one better, because this one is just not jiving with me. I don't know if it's the book or if it's me not wanting to read this type of story or what. It's just not working for me, but I am gonna finish it. So I've got about 6 hours left of this one. And that is my update for Monday. And I'm gonna be planning on, I'll probably finish my Mistletoe and Mr. Right. I will probably finish that one tomorrow. Also, I found like missing footage that I didn't realize. Like, I knew I was missing footage when I put up my most recent vlog. And I was like, how is that still from November and I'm putting it up at the end of December? Like, I didn't realize that I like was like 2 reading vlogs behind of what I've been filming, because I've just been filming and not, like, I didn't realize I didn't edit them and I hadn't put them up. So I have, as I'm filming this, I have another one already ready to go up, and I just put up my last one 2 days ago. So you guys are gonna be seeing a lot of old content for me, and I apologize, because that slightly bothers me when I am watching stuff from, like, I'm ready to be in the new year. I don't wanna think about 2020, like I don't wanna think about the year previous, even before when it wasn't 2020. So I'm sorry, but there is some 2020 vlogs coming your way. As you'll see this, you would have already seen them by now, but that's the explanation as why they're coming so late. So I'm going to finish Mistletoe and Mr. Right. I'm not liking that one as much as I liked Tourist Attraction, but I am looking forward to the next one, because I think the next one, I have like inklings of who it's gonna be following. So I'm pretty excited about that. I only have 3 hours left of that one, so I will be finishing that one tomorrow while I'm at work on breaks and such. When I come home, I'll hopefully be able to get a good chunk of Furyborn done. I will check back in with you guys tomorrow with hopefully some progress. Hello, welcome back to the reading vlog. It is now Tuesday, and I didn't get as much reading done as I was hoping to do, but I did finish Mistletoe and Mr. Right, and like, it was good. It wasn't like as captivating as the first one, but it was good. And then like the last 2 hours or 3 hours got wild, and I was like, the emotional roller coaster you're on. And also, like, not everything was tied up. I'll definitely be picking up the last one, because I like the setting of Alaska and these books, and I like the town. I like the different characters you meet throughout the time there, and I like the townsfolk and like the struggle that they are dealing with keeping their economy alive, and it talks about that, and it's just really enjoyable. So I definitely would say like the last part of this book definitely like kicked it up a notch. So I'm gonna be rating this a 4 out of 5 stars, and I like ship them together, but they're not my favorite. I think I definitely like the first group, like the first couple better. I'm gonna be listening to Furyborn and hopefully get like a little bit done in that one. That's my update. I will check back with you guys tomorrow. Hello. It's now Thursday, December 31st. It is New Year's Eve, and I've finished Furyborn. I don't know what to rate this. I'm gonna rate it a 3 out of 5 stars. I understand why people enjoy it, why people are like all about it. I think I was like, I got fed into the hype of it, and I just couldn't connect with the characters, so I didn't particularly care like when things happened to characters, except like her siblings, the main character siblings. I don't know, I guess that's not true. I cared a little bit, but I didn't ship the romance. I didn't find it like particularly new or like fresh ideas. So I'm not gonna continue this series because I could barely get through this one. I definitely pushed myself to finish this one because of the challenge. I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. It may be for you though, because it has all of the recipe that I would love if you like my reading taste. Strong female lead, it's got royalty aspects of it, it's got powers, it's got like supernatural elements in there as well. Like the fates are part of this one too. So those are usually the things that I really gravitate towards, but for whatever reason, I just couldn't connect with the characters, which I think really made or break this series, or at least this book. And if I'm not connected to the characters, then I'm not gonna like continue reading, because I need to have that connection between the character and the plot to push me forward. If I don't have the characters, it's just the plot, and it felt like I've read the plot before or similar things to it. So I'm not gonna continue with this one, like the series, but this one, it was okay. It wasn't anything to like, I'm not gonna remember this one. That one is done, and the only one left that I have is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. So I have the end of this week. So I usually end my reading vlogs on Saturday. So I have 2 days to start and finish Casey McQuiston's One Last Stop. And that was 432 pages. This doesn't come out until June. So I'm gonna be reading this very early. Very unlike me, but also proud of myself. It has 537 ratings at a 4.51, which is pretty damn good. However, people rate things without rating them, which is annoying. Don't do that. Don't be that person. So hopefully all of these people who are rating at 5 stars like got arcs. The other thing I'm worried about is I'm pretty sure this is some like time travel-y thing. And I'm really worried about that because you guys know how I feel about time travel. It is one of my most hated tropes. I think it's just under incest or fake incest, whatever. I don't like the trope. I don't want to hear it even if it's fake. No, don't feed me that crap. Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. I got One Last Stop to do, so that's what the rest of this reading vlog is going to be, is me reading One Last Stop. So it's like 8 o'clock here on New Year's Eve. So I've got time. And then I'm off on Saturday, so I'm just gonna spend the whole day reading Saturday and updating you guys. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I will check back in with you guys probably tomorrow. Hello. It's now Saturday, the last day of my like chance to finish my December TBR. I've not started One Last Stop, but today, that's all today is gonna be. It's One Last Stop. So I've got it pulled up. We've got the One Last Stop right here, Uncorrect Galley. So there's not anything pretty. Also, I started Didn't See That Coming by Rachel Hollis. I'm like 45 minutes to the end of this book, but I'm like, I need to start this because I haven't started it, and I need to start and finish a 435 page book today, which I don't know if I've ever done, so it may be like a futile experience, but I'm hoping that I just love it and binge it. We'll find out. Didn't See That Coming doesn't have that good of reviews. I always read Rachel Hollis because I really loved Girl Wash Your Face. I liked Girl Stop Apologizing. This one definitely is my least favorite out of the 3. There's Watson. Because she seems a bit sour, and usually I like the tough love type of books, and she definitely delivers that. But as someone who's gone through, I don't want to say very similar experiences to her as she's writing this, because she is in the middle of getting a divorce and she is going through all of that during 2020, which I also did. It feels a little sour. It doesn't feel like it's coming from a good place, and a lot of things stemming from her trauma as a child, she's putting a blanket statement on how you should act as a parent, and I don't like that. She's saying you should never let them see you break down, you should never have them hold that space to, that they're never old enough to ever see you break down. And I don't appreciate that, because like I had rough moments in my childhood as well, and I definitely, like, through years of therapy, have been told that I was like the parent in the relationship for both of my parents at certain times or another, and that was unhealthy for me, and I can understand that, but also that shaped me as an adult of recognizing this happens, they're human. And I don't want to say like that's not what not to do, but I've learned my own coping mechanisms by watching how they coped or not coped, and I feel like that made me a better adult because I went through that, and I definitely grew up faster than I was supposed to. But also, I have such a good relationship, like especially with my mom. I have such a good relationship where I was like the surrogate parent when I was a teenager for moments because of the things that she was going through when I was growing up. But I like appreciate that I'm now, it's not just a mother-daughter relationship. It felt like it's crafted into almost like a Lorelai Rory relationship where she's also one of my best friends, and so we can switch gears and I can respect her in both ways, where when she's coming to me as a mother versus when she's coming to me as a friend. And I wouldn't trade that for anything. And also like I watched my parents go through a divorce, which they fully needed to be divorced because it was unhealthy, and I watched her pick herself back up and do that to take care of both of us. And like, I think that taught me so much too about I can do this by myself. Like, I watched my mom go through that, and again, like, if she would have hidden all of that from me, I wouldn't have noticed or known that type of strength that I watched her go through. And I think that has helped me shape me immeasurably. So I don't agree that you don't show kids their hardship, because they learn from you. They learn from you as an example. Okay, I'm gonna get off my high horse here. And I also recognize that people have different experiences, and so it can be unhealthy and toxic to go through that experience as well. It's just, you can't put that blanket statement on everybody. Anywho, I'm gonna read one last stop. I will check back in with you guys. It's now almost noon. I'm gonna check back in with you guys in like an hour and a half and see where I'm at. Okay, it's now 1:17. I am into it. I like already relate somewhat to our main character, August. I love the setting. We're in New York with a bunch of different characters. She just moves into this loft. All of her roommates are like very different. Each has like a different relationship with her, even if it's like a little relationship. Her taking on the city, and then of course the girl Jane on the subway, who is like mysterious, and I already know it's about time travel, so she's like a time traveling person. I think, I don't know, we haven't gotten there yet. I'm only on chapter 3. I have 10 hours and 30 minutes left of this book, but I am like already into it. I love the characters. I love the way that Casey Queston writes her characters. They're so fully fleshed out characters, very different from each other. The relationships are all very different from each other. I am into it. I love the premise. Like, I am swooning over Jane. There's like a TikTok girl that reminds me of Jane, so like that's what I'm picturing. And I'm just like, I love everything about this right now. I'm getting animated. I need to chill. Yeah, so it's 10 hours and 29 minutes left in the book. I do have to take a short little break because I have to take the doggo out and make some lunch. But after that, I'm gonna keep reading, and it's just gonna be so good. But I'm excited that this is my day right now. I haven't had a reading day, like a sit down reading day, in so long. I'm usually like doing it while I'm like listening to things. That's why I go through so many audiobooks, but I needed this, and I'm just like, yes, I need it. So, Aria, do you have to go outside? I think that's a yes. So I'm gonna go take her out and then I'll check back in with you guys after I've read a bit more. Okay, it's a bit later now. I got distracted because my cat has fleas, so I had to like do his like comb through. So that took a minute. So I'm probably not gonna finish this today, but I'm still reading it because I'm still enjoying it. But I've kind of given up on hope on finishing it because I am a little over 9 hours left in the book and it's 4:45. So I'm 18% of the way through this book, and if they just spoiled it or planted that this is what's happening, I'm gonna be annoyed because that like takes the mystery out of it. I still like it a lot, but I just wish they wouldn't have planted it if that's actually true, because they're like theorizing about said girl on the train. I'll let you know what happens.